You shitting me? The video fucking stopped recording. I was halfway through. Guys, welcome to my little Omega nest. Today we're discussing Omegaverse. I just wanted to check the time because I have work later and I wanted to see how much time I have before work. We're gonna speedrun this shit. I don't have the patience for this. Okay, so Omegaverse sexism typically has male alphas at the very top. Hold on. So this is the sexism hierarchy: male alphas, male betas, female omegas, female betas, male omegas. That's because male alphas fulfill peak like masculinity roles. They don't fail on any of the like traditional senses. Whatever. Female alphas, they fail in the sense that they're women because of the power they have as alphas. Nobody really contests it. Male betas are just regular real life men. We know how they act. We know how they behave. Horrible. Female omegas, this is where it gets controversial. I think female omegas would be hypothetically treated better than female betas. We see how real women in the real world are treated, and then you can compare that to like trad wives, where yeah, sexism still like affects them, but they're treated like they're put on a pedestal, kind of. It's like being the firstborn daughter in like ancient Greece, where like yeah, you're heavily affected by sexism, but you're also kind of like treated as like an untouchable thing. Does that make any sense? Whatever. Female betas are just regular women. We know it sucks. And then male omegas, I think, are at the very bottom because they fail as men and they fail on their secondary gender by being the quote-unquote weaker one. I'm Omegaverse sexist. So I do think a really interesting idea is a world in which it's kind of reversed, where alphas are treated as subhuman and not really allowed to do anything. I read this one fic. I do this thing called fanfic roulette, where I take like a link and I don't read any of, like I take a bunch of links, don't read any of the tabs, use a plugin to get rid of the character names. Not really a plugin. I don't know words. Okay, I have an automated process that I didn't make. Some Homestuck I met in 2020 made it. I don't know how it works. But the point is, you get nothing except for, like, you get the two characters' names and none of the tags. And then the fic itself. And so you randomize it and you read one, and I read one. We used to make it like a competition to see who could stomach reading through whatever the randomized thing was. But I read this one, and I'm pretty sure it was like a Genshin Impact fanfic. That's ew. Why would I admit that publicly? Ew. Whatever. The point is that it was like reversed. It was like a matriarchal society. Omegas basically owned everything. It was kind of like a beehive. Omegas owned everything. The betas, okay, think of it, okay, sorry, not to get into bees and all of that, but there's always like the queen bee. She kind of just sits around, does whatever she pleases, and has a bunch of babies. Rules the world. Then there's the worker bees, which are all women, by the way, if you guys didn't know that. Worker bees are all female. The drones are all women. So betas are like the worker bees. They do all of the manual labor, etc., etc. And then the very bottom, there's the male bees, also, in this analogy, alphas. Their sole purpose is to fuck and die. Just like the lunar moth. Just like me. I shouldn't say that. I'm 17. I'm posting this publicly. Whatever. Fuck or die's already a fanfic trope. Why not? Let's go for it. No. So, it's the same way in which, like, male bees are expected to essentially, like, their life purpose is to be a sex worker. They are not treated as people. That's how the alphas were treated in this universe, and I do think that's a very interesting take on Omegaverse, because you usually see the Omegas getting oppressed. I want to see more men getting abused. And that's why I love Omegaverse so much, because you get to see men of all kinds getting abused. There's alphas getting bitched. Oh my god. That brings me to my next point. Fuck all that men should get abused more bullshit. No, we're on transgender rights in Omegaverse. Okay. So we know that trans people exist, like male to female, female to male, non-binary, like myself. However, what about an Omegaverse? And that's why I bring up the trope of bitching. Bitching is a trope in Omegaverse where alphas... Can I get demonetized if I only have 3 followers? Is that a thing? I'm not doing this for money. I just don't want this video to get age restricted because I don't know if my friends lie about their age like normal people or not. The point is that, how do I put this? Okay, because it's gonna sound weird and rapey no matter how I word it. And it kind of is. But it also depends on the plot. My chin looks weird. Not the point. God. Focus. Focus, Efren. God. No. So it's the process in which a alpha is railed in his booty hole repeatedly by another alpha in order to train his body to transition into an omega. And I am using he, him for all of these because at its core, Omegaverse is just a catalyst for impreg. Omegaverse was never meant to have women in it. That's why so many doujinshi and manga, when it's Omegaverse, it's a society where women don't exist. Shout out to the Trash Omega. Honestly, fire. Not really. It was a really... I wish it was longer. Not to, like, offshoot into, like, yaoi. But my username is Fujo Goddess, so what were you expecting? Honestly? If you click on a video by Fujo Goddess, you should expect me to offshoot into yaoi talk. But I read this one manga the other day. Doujinshi, whatever. It's called, like, the Trash Omega or something, where this, like, piece of shit guy, he's, like, a sex worker who gambles all of his money away, and he's just, like, drinking and smoking, and he, like, abuses other people's, like, kindness to get them to let him spend the night at their house, and, like, he uses their money, and he takes advantage of women in, like, neglectful marriages to, like, get them to sleep with him in exchange for, like, money and letting him stay at their house, etc., etc., and then one of the girls he had slept with, like, sees him walking down the street with one of his classmates and stabs both of them in the stomach and says, "Guys like you should be forced to get pregnant in Omegaverse." Hell yeah, sister. Hell yeah. I agree. Men should get pregnant. Looking at you, Light poster on my wall. Shout out to Light Pregamy from Birth Note. That one's for all my Death Note Twitter mutuals. I'm not on Death Note Twitter like that. I'm just there because Dai's there. Same thing with, like, Hannibal Twitter. That's not the point. My sub-Twitters are not the point. But basically, he gets sent to Omegaverse. It's a society where there's no women. His gambling friends, like, sexually prey on him. It's a whole ordeal. He starts living with his classmate, and he learns about sexism via being an Omega. He can't get a job because he's an Omega, even though he feels bad for using all of his classmates' money. And then him and his classmate, like, fall in love. Classic yaoi tropes, you know. I should do a video about dramatical murder. Oh my god. I should do a video about Camp Buddy. About New Carnival. I'm getting ahead of myself. The point right now is Omegaverse. Omegaverse does work really well in New Carnival, though. That's... All I'm saying is Omegaverse works well in the new Carnival universe. And that they should implement it into the game, and they should also give me a new Olivine card. Give me a new Olivine card. Please, I'm normal. I'm normal. I'm normal. I didn't learn all of the lore in this game to not get all of the cards I wanted. I know we're getting off track, but no, I was so pissed because when the double SR, Aster, and Morve cards first dropped, I'm obsessed with Aster. On like a fundamental level, I just really love characters who are assholes. But not like, oh, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, assholes. Like, you should kill yourself, assholes. And that's what Aster is. So I was super excited when they dropped the double SR card of him, and he looked so good in it. And then I got the double SR Morve twice. Or 3 times. I can't remember. I don't know. All I know is I'm upset about it. I still don't have Aster. I haven't been playing a lot recently. I'm pretty sure they just reran the event, but I was so upset at the memory of not getting Aster that I didn't log on. Can we all just like pour one out for Aster from New Carnival? I don't have any liquor in my room because I'm 17. I have like empty liquor bottles because I'm 17. We got strawberry soju, peach soju, peach soju, peach soju, sake, Hennessy, red wine. We got Sonic the Hedgehog. Hold on. Peep it. Ooh. Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm way off track. Sorry. Omegaverse, it holds a very near and dear place in my heart. So I feel like the next point we talk about. Oh my god, no, I never even finished. Oh my god. For all of you people who keep saying that you love my videos because it makes you feel like you're talking to one of your friends, I really hope this video does it for you, because this is truly how I talk to my friends. I get off topic and then I go to switch to another one and then it hits me and I'm like, I never finished what I was saying. Like, I was on the phone. No, I can't get into another story. Okay. Omegaverse. Transgender people. So we know that alphas can canonically transition into omegas. But what about omegas transitioning into alphas? Now, there is this one alien stage fanfic. That's a horrible way to start a sentence, but there is. In which, Till's guardian uses, like, pheromone patches on him to raise him to be an omega. So, I really like the concept of being able to use pheromone patches. However, that just removes us from our roots. Omegaverse is supposed to be about, like, freaking it nasty style. Caroline, stop yelling at me. My cat's loud. Her name's Caroline. Sweet Caroline Benadryl Barbie. Carrie for short. But yeah, so we know that alphas can just transition to omegas, but what about omegas transitioning to alphas? Like, would there be gender reaffirming care for that? And I like to think that... Never mind. I was gonna say I like to think no, because men should be abused. I barely slept last night. What? Meow. Oh my god. She wants to talk about Omegaverse. Okay. But basically, I like to think that sexism is very prevalent in Omegaverse because it's funny. Okay, God. Why are you like this? Oh, there's something in your eye. I didn't raise you like this. I raised you. See what I deal with every day? She doesn't like Omegaverse. My daughter is failing me. She doesn't. My baby. Come here. Mwah. My baby. She loves me. Don't let that fool you. Okay, you smell so... No, I'm putting... You're gonna scratch me. God. If you put your booty hole in my camera, I'm gonna be so mad. Okay. But yeah, no. The idea of Omegaverse transphobia is crazy to me, and I think people need to do more with it. Like, I can't work in these conditions. Stop. You're about to show your booty hole on camera. Oh, you're drooling. Oh! Lord. Okay, goodbye, fatty. Yeah, go eat. But yeah, no, Omegaverse transphobia, people don't do a lot with that. And where better for Omegaverse transphobia to come from than Omegaverse religion? I was on Wattpad as a child. I know my roots. I know that Omegaverse, when people would write about it, and like it was originally like werewolves, people who could transform into wolves, and Omega wasn't like, oh, it was more complicated than that. Because, like, yes, Omegas could go into heat, but they were looked down on so much more than in modern Omegaverse works. You know? So I feel like we're really losing the plot. Do you guys think that if an Omega goes into heat during Ramadan, that they're, like, permitted to stop fasting? I'm trying to think of other, like, religious holidays that I know well enough. But there's not a lot. And that's crazy because I was, like, a theology kid. But I was, like, an ancient theology kid, not a modern theology kid. Modern theology is crazy. It's scary. I don't want to die. Can you guys hear that? When I watch this in post, if you guys can't hear that, my cat's screaming because she doesn't want to open the cracked door herself. Okay, I released the beast. Do you think there's religious laws against premarital sex in Omegaverse? Because I do. So I want you to imagine this. A Catholic Omega. Are you guys picturing a Catholic Omega? Like I am? That's hilarious. Like a nun convent made of Omegas. And I know it's been done before because I've seen the Final Fantasy fanbase. I've seen the Fire Emblem fanbase too. I know what you people are. You disgust me. I'm joking, I fuck with Omegaverse heavy. Religion in Omegaverse is really interesting because originally whenever people would depict like Alpha and Omega characters, it was under the guise of like werewolves, where there would be some vague moon goddess, usually called like Luna or something. And it was very reminiscent of like Aphmau's My Street series, with like Irene, which was like Aphmau but reincarnated. Who gave a fuck? Nobody cares. There's cat fur all over me, and now I have to like itch my nose because it keeps like getting on my nose. I might be allergic. Who cares? It just makes me incredibly itchy. But yeah, so it was typically under like a monotheistic moon goddess, really vague, and everybody was werewolves. But over time, it transitions into like the gods of like those societies, especially like stuff like Genshin Impact, where the gods are characters you play as, where even the gods themselves are alphas and omegas and stuff. And it's gotten crazy. This is crazy. And I don't even want to get started on the K-pop fan bases. I really don't. You guys know you can listen to music without writing impreg of the band members, right? Unless it's Malice Miser, I want you guys to write impreg of Gact. Write Gact impreg. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. I'm sure he'd have nothing against it, honest to God. He seems like the kind of freak who would actually enjoy that. If any of you guys ever meet Gact in person, I want you to show him this clip. I want you to go up to him and be like, hey, this little white girl thinks that you should get pregnant. I think he'd appreciate it. My Japanese has gotten so much worse. I don't think I could say it in Japanese. Maybe in Spanish? I'm not that good at Spanish. Like, yo quiero tu embarazado? I don't know. Would it be yo quiero tu embarazado? I want you pregnant? See? Yo quiero tu muy embarazado. Tu embarazado. Por favor, Gact. God, I sound insane. Point is, Omegaverse sucks ass, and I love it for that. But like the god of Omegaverse, what is it? Because like it's inconsistent, and Omegaverse as a whole doesn't have a canon to it. It's just a vague, like, what's it called? Prompt. It's a prompt, not like an actual universe. Like all Omegaverse gives us is that one person's an alpha, one person's a beta, one person's an omega. We don't really get a lot of information out of it, and that's what makes it so interesting, and there will be a part 2 to this, because now that I think about it, I'm gonna make Zai be a feature on this. It's not a choice anymore, gay boy. Okay, I need to stop saying homophobic stuff, guys. I like girls. I'm allowed to be a little bit homophobic. Peace out, guys. I heart impreg. Actually, no, we're not done yet. I want to bring up the end, like, where are the babies going? Like, are they intersex omegas? Do they have hermaphroditism where they, like, have a coochie? Or is it, like, butt babies? Is it C-section? Like, how are these men getting pregnant? I want to know, how are the men giving birth?